you going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Crossing the Line. Today we're going to be taking a look at this story. Jackie Lambie and Albo have it out for Elon Musk. And what has Elon Musk done to deserve this amount of hatred and venom thrown at him? He won't break his freedom of speech rules and take down some videos and let's put it, the evidence of the recent attack, terrorist attack on that poor Christian preacher down in Sydney. Now, I don't know about you, but I think Elon Musk has done a great job with X. It definitely has has a long way to go. But as freedom of speech goes, it's probably the best platform we have besides somewhere like more of the right-wing nut job kind of spots. Like, I don't know if you've been on Getter. It's the right-wing version of Twitter. And believe me, it's a place. It's definitely a place. It's taken over by a lot of Chinese people. And when I post on there for my YouTube channel and podcast that I have here, I get nothing but a lot of really far out there nut jobs. So if you're watching this from Getter, I'm probably talking about you. But the story today from The Guardian, Australian Prime Minister labels Elon Musk as an arrogant billionaire who thinks he's above the law. Now, I'm sorry, Albo, but he's not an Australian citizen. He doesn't live here. He has a fair bit of his business here. I know X is, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. It's in Australia because the internet is everywhere. I know Albo hates the internet because that's where we find out information from that he doesn't want us to know, like the death toll from certain vaccines, maybe, possibly, theoretically, in Minecraft. I don't know. Depends what YouTube's feeling today. Depends on what their censorship's like. But things like freedom of speech seem to be pretty prominent on Elon's mind, hence why he bought Twitter, hence why he spent $44 billion or something along those lines on that failing platform that was just a leftist cesspool full of kiddie porn and leftist propaganda. Now, if you don't know, it is an election year in America. So the election is coming up. Donald Trump versus Biden. There's pretty much no one else in the running. RFK doesn't really have a chance. So it's Trump or Biden. Whether they assassinate Trump before he can run, before the election, or Biden carks it before the election, we don't know. But I've got my money on Trump winning if everything's all fair and equitable, but we know from the last election it may not be. Now, the Americans and the Republicans in general have to really pull their finger out and get down to enrolling in to vote and voting for Trump instead of just ignoring it and just thinking that he'll win. So it's not guaranteed by any means necessary. But Elon's got a lot riding on that, I think, and he has a lot to do with it. Now, last election, Google and places like Twitter at the time and Facebook and Meta, anything to do with Meta, YouTube, you name it, they all seem to skew Democrat and leftist, basically. Now, there's information out there. There's a great podcast on, I don't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, on Timcast IRL. You can go and check it out. There was a podcast. Try to find it. I can't remember his name. Sorry. But he was talking about election interference done by Google and the amount of backhanded tactics that they were using. Things like 90% of Democrats or something, 80% of Democrats were sent a reminder to go and vote on election day, and only some measly amount of Republicans were sent a reminder. Things like that. And you know how the news media works, the mainstream media works. They promote anything that pushes their agenda and they denounce anything that goes against the grain. Hence why we are talking about this subject now with The Guardian. The Australian Prime Minister labels Elon Musk as arrogant billionaire. Now, Albo's got no wiggle room here. He is a complete dunce. He is probably the worst prime minister we've actually had, especially in recent times. I wish he would just do a Harold Holt and walk into the ocean and never come back. But unfortunately, he is here to stay for the short term. Now, we'll get into the story here from The Guardian, and I want to know what your thoughts are on freedom of speech, especially with things like that. I mean, there are terrible things on the internet. I don't know if you've ever Googled anything before or been onto Reddit, or I don't know about you, but we grew up at school looking at things like rotten.com. Now, I've seen more war crimes recently than I saw on rotten.com, which is actually astounding now. Think about it. Things going on in Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, things like that. There is a lot of violence. There is a lot of unconsensual things on the internet. And for them to pick out this one stabbing at the Sydney church, which actually technically wasn't a stabbing because the knife didn't really deploy properly, thank God. It's weird to me. I don't know. I don't know why they've picked this as their mountain to stand on. I don't get it. It's a terrorist attack from I believe he was 15 years old, Muslim kid who attacked a very outspoken, very controversial, we'll say, Christian preacher, and it failed miserably. And the Christian preacher is alive and well, as far as I know, and it just doesn't seem to fit the narrative. We had the stabbing in Bondi Junction the other week, sorry, and I did a story on that. You can go and check that out. And they really, really don't want to push the Muslims are terrorists card, even though in this case, individual case, a Muslim kid did commit this terrorist act. And I don't know where they're trying to hide it. There's in the video that they're trying to take down, and the videos they are trying to take down, there's no blood. If there is, it's only on a little bit of clothing of someone who saved the man, if that's one of those videos. It just doesn't make sense to me why they're trying to censor that and why they're pinning everything on this one case when there's a lot worse things out there on the internet, especially on X, just on a daily. There's worse things on YouTube, honestly, than that video there. I mean, I've seen videos of Lizzo and Sam Smith twerking, and that offends me more than any beheading ISIS video or anything like that ever could. I mean, there are some things that the soul just can't bear, and I believe Lizzo or Sam Smith twerking or dancing are some of those things. Now, we'll get into the story here, but just be warned, censorship is coming. We have an entire arm of the government now to censor what we say, what we do, and what we see on the internet. And this video here could be very well censored if it's anything like TikTok or YouTube has been playing games recently. TikTok is probably one of the worst for it, but YouTube's getting up there, especially getting closer to the election. But we'll read this story here, and hopefully you guys can see this video. If not, it's a waste of time, but we'll give it a crack anyway. So, Australian Prime Minister has labelled the ex-owner Elon Musk as an arrogant billionaire who thinks he is above the law. As the rift deepens between the Australian and the tech platform over the removal of videos of a violent stabbing in Sydney church on Monday evening and a urgent last-minute federal court hearing, the court ordered a 2-day injunction against X to hide posts globally containing the footage of the alleged stabbing of Bishop. Alleged. Okay, that's one issue to begin with. I know it's the Guardian, the news, but if there is video evidence of someone doing something, I mean, coming into the age of AI, video editing and things like that, maybe might be an issue. But saying alleged in these kind of things is kind of hard R word here, retarded. I don't get it. It's very obvious that this kid did this act. The stabbing of Bishop Mari Emmanuel last Monday evening on the E-Safety Commissioner directed X to remove, but X had only blocked access from Australian pending a legal challenge. Blocked access in Australia pending a legal challenge. Now, He blocked access for Australian citizens using Australian internet to view that video and view that content. That means he didn't block the rest of the 7 point however many billion people are on the earth, because we don't control the world. I don't know if Albo knows this, but our laws only reach as far as our borders. We can't make up laws in Kazakhstan or Russia or Ukraine or America. We don't get to make up laws in those other countries because they are sovereign countries with their own laws and their own government. And Albo just, I don't know, doesn't realize this. Elon went and banned or hid the posts from Australian citizens using Australian internet, which was what they asked for. They asked for censorship on that matter, and begrudgingly, I'm sure X did it. Whether Elon had any inkling of the matter, he's a very busy person. I doubt he's there monitoring every single thing going on at X, but which I would be against anyway. They shouldn't have blocked the post in Australia. They should have just told the government and told Albo to thoroughly go and fuck themselves. Like Elon's been known to say. I don't get why they've chucked up a stink about this, but Elon shouldn't have blocked it here in Australia, but he did. That aside, that wasn't good enough for our E-Safety Commission here in Australia, because the woman running it, who's obviously got a bee in a bonnet over Elon because he's a billionaire who has more money than God, and they don't like him having this little bit of power over their communist dictatorship that they're trying to push out. So they've gone whole hog and decided to attack him over it, and I do not get why. He did what they asked. He banned the video or stopped the video being seen in Australia. But because if you have a VPN, now I don't get paid by any sponsors or can't make any money off this YouTube channel yet. Hopefully one day. So if you can, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. That'll help me out a lot. But if you go and get a VPN, something like I use ExpressVPN, they're very good, cheap and reliable. It's fast internet. It's pretty much the best one around, or anything I've tried anyway. But ExpressVPN, use something like that, you can go and view these posts. So the very few people who do use a VPN and have a VPN can see this footage and see a post and share it and whatever else. So they've got to be in their bonnet over that. So no, now they want him to ban it for the world over, which is unfathomable to me. It doesn't make any sense. You can't just ban something for the entire human race to know, because it might upset someone and it's confronting, or it's portraying something that you don't want portrayed. It's an agenda that you don't like being out there. It's information you don't like. You can't just ban it. Do you know who does that? Who has done that? Communist dictators like Stalin, Mao, dictators like, I think it was his birthday just the other day, wasn't it? 420, Hitler, things like that. Generally, people like that generally ban information like this. Not the ever-loving, peaceful, hippy-dippy, Bondi Beach, sandal-wearing hipsters that you think the Australian people are. If you're an American, that's generally what you probably think of us, which you're not far off the matter. That's not what this country is about. We are a free country, theoretically. We'd like to think we are. I've got a lot of evidence to the contrary. But we like to have our freedoms. We like to be free. And we sell ourselves to the world as a country that is free. And a lot of people will sit there and say that America's not free. We're actually free. They have all this gun violence and blah, 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 blah. And I hear you on that. I get that. I mean, there's more people shooting up schools than there are shooting up in the streets of San Francisco half the time. I don't, that's them. That's the way it is, okay? They have freedoms to do that. We have gun ranges to do that. Whatever. We are selling ourselves to the world as this free society that has everything you could ever want. Green energy, beautiful beaches, tourism, healthy people, all this crap, and it's a lie. It's a complete and utter farce. We are barreling towards becoming some new world utopia of silence and submission. It's a lot like George Orwell's very, very famous book, 1983, which I have a copy over on the wall behind me there. If you haven't read it, I suggest you go and read it, or if not, if you can't afford to buy the book or whatever, go and listen to a audio copy on YouTube. There is one. That was the first time I heard it properly from start to finish was on YouTube. Very good readings there. It's scary how close we are to something like that. 1987. It's scary how close we are voting ourselves into that. It's not the Australian people want to be there. It's they just think that we're all going to be okay. It's the Australian attitude of she'll be right, mate. And a lot of people seem to think, oh, the government won't do that. The government won't censor speech. The government won't ban you from saying things on the internet. The government won't kick down the doors of pregnant women with children in their house and arrest them for saying they were going to a protest. But in recent times and in recent years, we've seen that they do that exact thing. They beat old people in the streets and pepper spray them because they are out and about protesting the government's overreach. They do it every time. Anytime we raise our heads up above the grass, we're cut down. This tall poppy syndrome in Australia is frightening. The government is there quickly to put a boot on our neck. Remember during the pandemic that we just recently had, I don't know if people remember anymore, but it seems to be fast disappearing out of their memories. The government was very violent, very distrustful, very propagandist of them to be spreading all their misinformation, disinformation, to use their words that they love using so much, around and locking us down, beating us if we didn't submit, and arresting us and charging us with crimes that no longer in effect. The fines were all dismissed and people were let out and everything was just ignored, and we didn't even get an apology. It was just ignored. So, and they're still pushing their propaganda and vaccines and all that stuff now and pretending that they didn't do anything wrong. So we've seen in recent times what the government can be like. And I think this E-Commission Board, whatever it is, the E-Safety Online Act or whatever the fuck they're doing, is nothing but totalitarian dictatorship rule over free thought, free thinking in general, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of protest, freedom of to do anything. Because if they can arrest you, if they want to jail, as the words of that crackhead in Tasmania, Jackie Lambie, that bush pig, if they want to jail a billionaire who has refused to do their bidding, even though he originally did what they asked, and it just wasn't good enough. It just wasn't good enough. What are they going to do to you? They will lock you in prison. They will throw away the key. You will not get a fair trial. You will not get any fair representation because the judges are all the same. The only people they let out of prison are disgusting, degenerate pedos, crooks, and murderers. Or maybe if you're an immigrant, a legal immigrant, they'll let you straight back out. It doesn't matter. We'll continue reading this delightful story from The Guardian. Anthony Albanese said Musk was a bloke who chose an ego and showing violence over common sense. Australians will shake their head when they think that this billionaire is prepared to go to court fighting for the right to sow division and to show violent videos. To sow division. How is he sowing division? Because you don't want him to show the reality of this world? The reality is that Muslims, Christians, Jews, and all that aren't getting along very well at the moment. There's a lot of tension. I don't know if Albo's seen any of the news, but maybe some of that money he's sending over to Israel and Palestine and places like Ukraine could be an inkling that there is some sort of turmoil going on. And I don't think it's a new thing that Jews, Christians, and Muslims are all arguing and fighting. Is it? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure there's 1,000 or so years, 2,000 years of issues going on with them lot. I don't know. I'm pretty sure people have written books on it. Pretty sure there's things called crusades. I don't know. Maybe Albo's just not very well read. I mean, with a head like that, special ed class must have been fun. Just throwing paper spitballs at that head of his. Australians will shake their head when they think of this billionaire prepared to go to court fighting for the right to sow division and show violent videos. He told Sky News in a social media he has a social responsibility in order to have that social license. He told the ABC that Musk is an arrogant billionaire who thinks he is above the law. Whose law, Albo? What law has he broken? What e-safety commissioner is doing her job to protect the interests of Australians and the idea? See, I love that how they think that we agree with this. No one agrees with this as far as I know. I haven't seen anyone online agreeing with it, and there's some disgusting people online. Protect our interests in Australia, and the idea that someone would go to court for her to put a violent platform to show Mr. Musk. He said on Tuesday, Musk tweeted the company was concerned that if any country is allowed to censor content for all countries, which is what the Australian e-safety commissar is demanding, then what is to stop any country from controlling the entire internet? We already have censored the content for in question for Australia, pending legal appeal, and it's stored only on servers in the USA. And so he did exactly what they wanted. He took it down for Australians and then let the rest of the world have it, because that is how it works. Australia does not rule the internet. Just because some cube-headed, buck-toothed moron running this country thinks that he can just promote his communism and propaganda around the world and ban shit that he deems necessary, I'm sorry, but if you think that Australia has any right to reach overseas and tell anyone else what they can see on the internet, you're shit out of luck, because we have a very small country with a very small population and a very small budget. I would love to see how Albo intends to enforce any of this. Now, Albo's not the only one here. We've got the crackhead from Tasmania, the bulldog herself, carrying on again. Now, it's not about vaccines, and it's not about people doing the right thing and being a bloody adult, as she likes to say. Jackie Lambie blasts Elon Musk as social media knob without a conscience. That's rich coming from that bush pig. Senator Jackie Lambie was torched billionaire Elon Musk as a social media knob with no conscience after the ex-owner refused the Australian government's request to remove graphic content. Now, I didn't see any of the Australian politicians cracking up when Twitter wasn't owned by Elon. I didn't see any of them cracking up when they had child CP, let's just call it, on their platform. And then when Elon gets on there, he gets rid of it all. It's amazing how quickly he did too. I mean, it must have been really hard for the people with, was it 80% more staff than what Elon's got? Elon's got a handful of people there. He fired everyone, and he can get rid of all that disgusting content on there. But when they were fully stocked and fully loaded with people, they couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. We just can't figure it out. I didn't see Jackie Lambie kicking up a stink about any of the content then. I don't see Jackie Lambie or Albo kicking up a stink about the beheading videos from ISIS that are still currently on Facebook. You can go there any day of the week and you see, I mean, the amount of videos that are coming out of Ukraine, Israel, Palestine are disturbing. Drones hunting people down and killing them while they try to surrender. That's okay. Jackie Lambie doesn't care. But an old man getting punched in the face with an unopened knife, because it's a Muslim terrorist attack, they really want to get that stuff down. Someone like that should be in jail and the key be thrown away, Jackie Lambie Network Senator said. So now she thinks that we should be able to jail a billionaire, but anyone, say he's a poor person from overseas, we should be able to jail someone who doesn't live here, who doesn't, as far as I know, have a visa here. We should be able to jail them for thought crime and then letting people access information that's already out there. It's not like Elon posted this anyway. It's not like he's the one who filmed it and put it up. This is insane. Jackie Lambie obviously should not be in government, should be stripped of any of her titles, any of her benefits, and be taken out back and then shoved into the mud where she belongs. This is a disgusting human being who has no care for the Australian citizens' rights, no care for our freedoms. She just wants to take away our rights and freedoms and leave us with nothing but totalitarian dictatorship from the government, because the government thinks that they know what is best for us. They jack up the price of alcohol. They jack up the tax on cigarettes. They jack up the price on fuel. They jack up the price on power, because these are all things that the government thinks are hurting us and that we should know better than to consume. And they know better, so they're going to make us pay through the hip pocket for it, whilst jamming us with experimental drugs and forcing you to go and get them with threats of being locked down, threats of not being able to contribute to society, threats of losing your job, threats of losing your children, things like that, threats of being locked up in one of the detention centres that our government spent so much money on. Miss Lambie told Sky News that she'll be switching off X today, as called on the other parliamentarians to follow suit. Thank God. Thank you. There is no Jackie Lambie on Twitter anymore. She is gone. She can delete her account. Do you know who needs to do this next? Lydia Thorpe. Ban Lydia Thorpe. Lydia Thorpe, follow suit. Adam Bant, follow suit. No, you won't, because you know that X is a good platform to reach out to your followers, reach out to your little pro-Palestinian greenies, whatever you want to do, vegan fucking idiots, and then promote your propaganda. The idea of X, the idea of Twitter, is to have a place where everyone can voice their opinion, voice what they think should be going on, and then people can discuss it. People can send dick pics back at you if you say the wrong thing. If you call a man and a woman and say there's only two genders, you're going to have 100,000 blue-haired weirdos saying that you're a fascist, you're a pig, and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That's okay, because that's the way it should be. People should be able to disagree with one another on the internet. People should be able to disagree with one another wherever you are. If you have some idea that is stupid and not well thought out and maybe racist or something like that, then no one knows you have that idea unless you voice it. So voice that idea, and then you might have your mind changed. You might have people give you information you didn't know you had. Things like that. That's how communication works. That's how building this country, building this world, getting along with each other works. And people like Jackie Lambie here, thanks Shitty the Poonicorn for this retweeting this, and Anita Law. It's fantastic drawing, by the way. I love this art. It represents everything Jackie stands for. And I think we should end on that note anyway. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this attack on free speech from the E-Commission is good for Australia? Do you think this stuff should be taken down? Do you think we should end up like England, where you can be fined for saying something to offend someone on the internet? You could be jailed for offending someone or misgendering someone. Do you think we should go that far with it, because we're trying to build this beautiful world that no one gets offended, no one gets hurt, everyone, is happy and fat and eating corn dogs at a fair? Do you think we should try to build that world, or do you think that having a little bit of sadness and having a little bit of offensive material in the world is okay? Do you think it's okay to speak your mind and say things that might hurt someone else's feelings? Because that is our, whether you're a religious person, God-given or universe-given right to be able to voice our opinions, voice our thoughts, and maybe be proved wrong, maybe be proved right. We don't know. And the only way to find out is if you voice those opinions. Some opinions are worse than others. Some opinions are good. Some opinions are bad. I haven't seen an opinion that Jackie Lambie holds that is good. She loves the corn dogs, though. It's a bit crass, but we'll leave it there. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Leave a like, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. It's hard to get 1,000 followers here. when you speak about things I do, and I do produce some pretty shitty videos. So thanks for you guys sticking around and watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.